I think this is working. This is an entirely new system. A buddy of Duty Ron's helped me out. So I am going to hope that this works. So you can see, wait, it's on this side. Look at my little coffee cup. I've got lots of little cute things going on. So what I wanted to do was just, I can't even tell if anybody's watching or not, but I'm just going to, if there's some people that come on, that's great. I really want to be, did it again. Okay. Can you guys see me? I don't know if you can see me. Okay. I don't know how long the delay is on this. It's a new system, and so I'm trying to get used to it. So, man, this is, I don't know even if you can hear me, but I'll just say, has this been the craziest summer time period, whatever, of our lives. It's so funny because when I was younger, I used to always think of 2020, and I thought, wow, that's some kind of milestone. And I didn't recognize that it was actually going to be like a tearing up of so much stuff and so many ideas. So I don't know. Am I on? Let's see. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay. You can see me. Okay, good. Okay. So I thought I would share just a little bit. I think I mentioned on the board just how difficult this summer has been. I took a fall and I didn't take it. It happened, and I landed just below my coccyx bone. And for a couple of weeks it was sore, no biggie. And then all of a sudden, I felt that feeling. I know what a bulging disc is, like a herniated disc, bulging. And I went, uh-oh. And it has been so difficult to walk. So I just want to say that. It has been challenging, to say the least. Yeah. And so what I want to do is I'm glad. I just want to say hi to a couple people. Oh my gosh, I have missed you guys. And to be really truthful with you, I was kind of nervous about coming on again and telling you how I really felt. And then I thought, I started thinking about it because and you guys know me from really when I talked about the crime that brought me here, right? And then all of a sudden I realized that the crime that's going on right now for all of us is we are literally afraid to use our First Amendment. We are literally afraid to say how we feel, what's going on. And it's, people are using buzzwords like cancel culture, but I think it's far more dangerous than that, if I have to say. So, oh gosh. So I'm just going to say hi to a couple people because I realize I've not been here and I've been remiss. So, guys, it's so good to see you. Oh my gosh. Ronnie, good to see you. Maria, let's see who else is here. Angelina, whoa. Stephanie, what's going on? Olivia. Is it, I always get Teresa. I always get that 1979 wrong, but hi. And let's see. Oh, Catherine, you're so sweet. Yes, you can hear me. Hi, Nikki. Good to see you. Lori, hey. Just connected with you, so that's good to see you. Joseph, how are you feeling? Like that, I thought about you. And Teresa, thanks for the reminder. Okay, little lady Di. Okay, so guys, so here's what I was going to share with you that I think, so that the thing that gets me is when someone makes me angry, and I got pissed the other day, and I want to share this with you because I think you'll really get it. Okay. So, and I'm so excited that this new system is working, and I'm hoping, because this was a buddy of Duty Ron's who helped me put it together. So thank you. And I don't know some of the particulars yet, but I know I can actually click on here and bring people on. So I know that I had talked to Judy Run about doing a little series that we want to talk about in terms of crime in New York. So, but let's talk about this. Here's where I want to start, because there's just so much going on, you guys, that it really has come down to, it's a crap show. Okay. And like I said, I was just kind of like, you know what? I can't go on. And every day, seriously, every day, like I'll go, okay, I'm putting on a little makeup. And then it's like, I can't put on makeup. I can't move, you know, and the back has been so bad. Like when I tell you today, it was a challenge to walk. And then don't even get me started with like, oh, you need this CT MRI. But I'm like, okay, here we go. And it's like all this money, even though I'm insured, different conversation. So here's what happened. One of the gals on my help desk, I have a support desk where people send emails in and, you know, they make requests or they ask things or what have you. An email came in, and the email was about this deck. Okay. It was about this tarot deck. And I'm going to talk about not the deck, not an actual tarot deck. It could be any kind of deck, but what happened was, she basically accused me of being some kind of, I forget what it is, but someone who is a racist, because in this deck, it's all white, thin women. Well, the woman on my help desk, Cindy, she messaged me and she was like, what do I do? You know, how do I respond to this? And I said, well, you have I'd written up something. And excuse me. And I said, just let her know that the woman who drew these cards, she drew these chakra cards. She lived at the time, it's like now 7 or 8 years ago. And at the time, you know, she lived in the Ukraine, and she basically it was when all that crap was happening with Russia, and they were afraid to go out, and it was very dangerous and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so here we go. So let's see. I'll talk about that in a second. Hold on. So this is So just to give you the idea, this woman said, you're only using these beautiful, thin, white women. And the response that my help desk person said was, listen, you know, Tori used this. She used this one artist, because what I do is I see an artist and I go, oh my gosh, I want to work with them. So I send them my manuscript if I, you know, the 2 times I've done a deck, and then I trust the artist to come up with what it's going to be. And she was kind of like trapped and not going out really, because it was dangerous to go out. And so she had the people in her, you know, I want to say community, right? And that's who she used as her models. So what ended up happening, if you know anything about tarot, but there's the Fool's journey, right? The Fool is one woman who goes through the entire 21 cards. So you can understand when I say there's 78 cards in a tarot deck, she used the people in her environment, and they're all white. But she used their faces because the idea was that this was supposed to be and is an energetic fantasy, right? So that was her interpretation of the work I did. So, and even like, just to give you an idea, okay, like with the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, my other deck, this was after a near-death experience, and I had angels coming and telling me stories, and crazy, but basically these were all like multicultural, and in those days it was Eskimo. Now I have to say Emu, you know, whatever the names are. Guys, I can't keep up with all the politically correct stuff. But basically the color wisdom was an oracle, and it's based on fables. And I didn't even know there were some gay cards. I didn't even know. Like, she drew some stuff and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So what happened was, you know, this deck, the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, became like a huge sensation, right? It just became this huge hit. And I put a lot of investment into it personally. I really did. So the reason I'm telling you all of this, okay. Thank you, Tim. So what I want to say about this is that this woman, I mean, I'm telling you, what I want to ask you guys this: what kind of brain gets up in the morning and says, I'm going to write this white woman, and she's probably white, and tell her, she's inappropriate to put out this deck. And it's like, really? Like, you are harassing me because my deck has white people. Now, here's the thing I want to say about this. Who the F are you? Okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm pretty strong, so I'm kind of like, and I'm also like the person that says this could destroy someone who is insecure about what they're doing. And believe me, it makes me mad as hell, because you see, this person, she's not attacking me. She's attacking anyone who has a voice that she does not agree with. And I'm going to share the letter with you as well, because why not? Humiliation deserves company, right? So the point I'm making is, the idea of tearing someone down is just not in my, it's not in my world, okay? But when I say that in that way, but believe me, okay? Then, so my assistant writes this thing about how the woman in the Ukraine was in her house and she ended up with this deck, and I wasn't going to go back and go, you need a black person here, or you need somebody who's in a wheelchair. And I've seen this happening. People are just creating stuff that has no basis in truth. In other words, there's nothing authentic about the writing. There's nothing authentic about it. It's like, oh, I got to put a black person in, and then I need a Hispanic, and then I'll get I'll get somebody who is Asian, and I need an Indian, someone in a wheelchair. This is the craziness of I have to please everyone. And you know what? Try to please everyone and you will please no one. And it always goes like that. And people are emboldened now to tear you apart if they think you are not one of them. And I have to be really upfront with all of you and say, this is one of the things that makes me be contrary, is like, oh, really? You're going to say that? Because I'll stand right up to you. Because you see, there are people out there right now, and don't even get me started with some of the stuff that's going on, that literally are taking their own lives. I mean, we've always had suicide in our cultures, but the reality is that they're so depressed about their lives. And who the hell are you to write this letter to me? Exactly, Catherine. Hurt people. And Nikki just said the 4 agreements. Brilliant. Now, the 4 agreements, interesting. I worked with his son. The 4 agreements is very interesting because it's basically, my little thing of show up, pay attention, and tell the truth, right? And trying not to say something that's insulting. But I'm a Sag, so I always say it, so I can't help it. But I think that Lady Di said your friend had a problem with it too. I wonder who that is. But, one of the things I want to say is that when I step back and I look at someone who actually got up, I don't even know if she, brushed her teeth and put on her, her clothes for the day. I don't know. Maybe she didn't. I have no idea. But got up and went, something? I bought this deck and they're all white and I'm mad. And, I want to tell you, when I first created this deck, right? Hi, baby. Hello. When I first I'm not that upset. So when I first created this deck, I was standing there. I was at a thank you, Joseph. I'll mention that in a minute. I was standing at it was at a tarot conference, right? And I was standing there and a black woman comes up and she flips over every single card. Okay. And she goes, it's all white people. And she knew who I was. I was standing right there. And I thought that was the first experience I had with it. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a really, really bad experience time. Like, in other words, I had a feeling that things were not going to be copacetic, and I think that as I say this to you, I think there are deeper roots to what's going on than we can even tap into at this moment. And I kind of have a sense of it a little bit. And that's part of why I haven't really wanted to share, because it's not about a race thing. It's not at all about that. It has to do with some of the work I've been doing around multi-generational healing. And I have to tell you that there's some profound stuff I've discovered, which I want to share with you. But I first want to say hi if anybody, let's see. When you told us the story last year, you said your friend called you and had a problem. Oh, I can't remember. Maybe, was it little lady Di? I forget who that was. So forgive me, because you know what though? That might've been someone else, because this was a new email I just got. You know what, Joseph? Thank you. Very well put. And he just said, so many people pandering because they're guilty of what they accuse others of being. Inner guilt projection. There was a fabulous video. It was about this guy who went to, sorry, it's warm in here, went to a college campus. I think his name is, I'll link it below after the video, but he went to a college campus and he interviewed all of these basically white people and, a British guy. There was some different, but it was all, how can you say, a very academic environment. So he interviewed them, and each one, he said, so, do you think that things are unfair? What is it? Oh, about the internet and something about how Black people are oppressed because of the internet. And each one was like, yes, I think it's really unfortunate. They don't have any access to the internet. Literally, this one woman said that. This other guy said, well, they really don't have much. And so it's just, unfortunate that these things are happening to them. And this was kind of like, I don't know, believe me, guys, I don't know if it was something that Trump said or it's something somebody else said. I have no idea. But the point is, they were all up in arms, all white people, about how Black people don't have, that was it. They don't have driver's license. They don't have ID cards. And I'm like, what? I'm watching this thing going, what idiot is thinking that, right? And then he goes to Harlem and he walks up the street and he's talking to people and going, hi, Black people in Harlem. It was a nice neighborhood. And he's walking up to people and he says, do you struggle? Do you not know the internet at all? This one woman looks at him and says, honey, I have a job. I've been on the internet for 20 something years. What are you talking about? And he said, well, there were some people in this university, and she was just like, that's ridiculous. And he walked up to another woman who's on her phone, and one by one, they were like, who would say something like that? That's completely stupid. And what it is, it goes to what Joseph was saying about pandering. See, the problem is that, and this is where I feel there's a real issue, okay, is that when you feel sorry for people, you will do stupid things that are completely antithetical or the opposite of what they really need. And this is kind of the I was watching as this kind of like, it was like a, like a spring ice, right? I'm watching the ice on the road and going, somebody's going to skid on this one. And then the brilliant thing was he asked two other people, there was a couple, and they were just, walking up the street. And he said, I want to ask you a question. They're like, sure, and he says, listen, do you guys have IDs? And this woman looked at him. I think there were a couple, and she looks at him and says, of course I have an ID. That's crazy. And he said, do you know where the DMV is from here? Because that was something someone else said. They don't have a chance. They don't even know where the DMV is, right? So this guy standing with her said, what? The DMV is right at 125th and 3rd. He said, everybody knows that. And then there was a guy sweeping in the street, and he walked over to the guy and said, do you feel like you can't get internet? You have a real problem. And the guy looked at him and said, who would say something like that? And he said, oh, well, I was asking white people at this college. And the guy said, these people are just ignorant. And I thought, so here's, and I don't know, maybe I've lost half of you by now, but I think what we're really talking about, it's like what we really need. Oh, it's so good to see some people. Yeah, exactly. Some of these people, and this is what I want to say to you, is like, I'm just really loving seeing some of you, and I'm just like, oh, I want to hug you all. Oh, that's right, I can't. Okay, but I'm going to hug you. Wait. Okay, I sent a hug. So what I'm trying to say is the more insanity I started watching, like the more of like, Joseph said it, the pandering, like the fakeness of it. Like, no, these aren't like, these aren't people that are stupid. the people that are stupid are the people who think the other people are stupid. And that's wherein some of the issue is lying. So what I want to talk about is, you just empathy yawned. You're so funny. I know. It could be a problem. Oh, thank you so much, Black Rose. I have to figure, just so you guys know, I have a new system, and that's what I'm working with right now. And so there's a bunch of stuff that's been on my mind, and I actually wrote it down, and I left it over there. But anyway, here's the thing I want to say. I want to share with you, and I think it's on here. I don't even know if I'll be able to share it, but it is this letter that I received. I received it I received it last night, and I'm gonna give some of you just coming on a little more context, because what I want to do is I want to read it to you, and I think it's very important what this woman said to me. And Frances Reed, I don't know her, but I think it's important because one of the things I think is going on is that some of you may remember, does anybody not know about the McCarthy hearings in the 1950s? Anybody? It's perfectly okay if you don't just say, what's that? So I'll make this super short because it seems like everybody knows. Basically, Senator McCarthy was a drunk, and he was power hungry. He was an alcoholic as well. And he was off his gourd. Okay. He was out of his mind. And it was so interesting because he started this whole thing about communists in America and how the entertainment really business, the industry was all communists. And this is like, okay. So are you guys still there? Oh, Sandra, thank you so much. Oh gosh, that's going right to my medical fund. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. I didn't even know if it would work with this, so I have no idea. But anyway, what Senator Joe McCarthy did is he had these, I want to say, clown hearings, okay? But they were very real to the people it affected, very real. And what it was he would bring in these people, and neighbors were telling on neighbors, oh, he's a communist. Oh, that's a communist supporter. And it destroyed like hundreds of people it destroyed hundreds of people in their careers. People were blacklisted. That's where the blacklist came from, of like, you were not allowed to be hired in Hollywood. And that's in a way why I'm so surprised that Hollywood is doing it again. Like there's this almost memory loss of what really happened. But there was something that I wanted to share with all of you about this, and then I'm going to share the letter that I received. The thing that's really key here is that Edward R. Murrow, who was a CBS newsman, there was another guy, there were a couple other people, but Murrow really, he was the one that stopped it in a sense. People were terrified of McCarthy because it's like a witch trial, right? He did it. And the minute somebody's name was mentioned, you were just guilty. It wasn't even, there was no trial. It was just people like, so I know you did it. And it's like, like this was happening here in America because of the whole, it really came off the Russian fear, right? Because we had to split Germany with them. So think about this, early 50s, we finally got, things, we were still stationed there, but you kind of get the idea. The point I'm making is that Edward R. Murrow, there's actually a movie about it, but it does the story no justice. It's good, but I think that the story's much better. But what happened was Edward R. Murrow, against the advice of anybody, he came out, newsman. It's so interesting. We have so much false news right now, right? They make up a story and we see it, and it's the craziest thing I want to see. Yep, you're correct. Angelina's correct. She's got this. Arthur Miller, fabulous playwright, he was labeled as a communist, and it really nearly destroyed him. And actually, most of these people who were labeled became drunks. Now, McCarthy was already on his way down. He was already being destroyed in the world, really. But people were so afraid to be accused that they were actually coming out and accusing other people rather than like telling their truth of like, this is wrong. You know, everyone was afraid of saying this is wrong, right? Yeah. So the point, exactly, Catherine, Edward R. Murrow, to this day, I can get chills when I watch him. He at the end, he really destroyed, I just want to see if I can find it, but he really destroyed the entire, and he was, by the way, he's one of the people who said good night and good luck, you know, but he was the man that came out and said, what's going on here? Let's see, it says, so he was born in 1908 and he died in 1965. He was an American broadcast journalist and war correspondent. He first gained prominence during World War II with a series of live radio broadcasts from Europe. But later, here it is. Let's see, The Warning to America. And let's see. Oh, how did Murrow sign off? It was always good night and good luck. And it was just the strangest, you know, but it was such a powerful thing of every night. And it's kind of like if you watch somebody's news show and every night they have their thing they say. Yeah. Anyway, so here we go. Perhaps the most noted episode of the program was in March 1954 when Murrow took on Senator Joe McCarthy. And in that episode, in that particular episode, it was one of the, I think this is it. No, that's not it. Okay, I was trying to find it, and because I think I'm also testing tonight, you guys. So I bet I can find it. Edward R. Murrow, I'm going to say with McCarthy. Yeah, okay. So if I can find this clip, I think it's like a 2-minute clip. It's March 10th. Here we go. Response to McCarthy. Okay. This is great. It's, yeah, of course. No, nobody wants it. It's, let me just see if I can find it. I want it to be the YouTube because I want you to see it as opposed to just, you know, oh, I'm so close. Hold on. Okay. So there is a documentary about it, but let me, okay, I want to look at this. Remembering Murrow's Historic McCarthy Report. I don't know if I can show it. I'm going to try. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to try to. Okay, I see you guys. I know I need to add somebody. I'm just trying to. This is actually an experiment tonight because you guys are here. It's, yeah. The issue with the system is that you have to remember that people now in this time are being outed for who they really are. And this has a lot to do also astrologically. Oh my God. I mean, you know, Saturn is going back into Capricorn, which is like, if you misbehaved, it's coming out. So that's why, let me just see if I can find this. Invite. Oh no, share screen. I think I can do it. I want to share the screen, select a window. Let me see. Oh gosh. I don't know if it's called. No, hold on. That's the one I'm on. No, that's not it. Here it is. It's remembering. I'm hoping that this is it, but I don't know if I can do it. And again, this is why I wanted to try this tonight because I thought, ooh, if I can. Now it's, let's see, entire screen. Oh, look at you guys. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can. No, that's not working. I'm going to have to figure this out another time. But basically, it's actually a yeah, I can't. I'm trying to figure out how to share the screen on this because this is StreamYards that I'm using, so it's a little bit different. Jen, what's going on? Yes, and I was just going to say this to you. Who said this? I watched this in a literature course. I'm just going to go. Will you allow? No, ignore it. Okay, what? No. Can you guys still see me? Yikes. Did I turn off my own thing? I don't know if I did this. Oh, no. Okay. All right. Can you see? Okay. Can you guys still see me? I don't know if you even can. Let me see. Solo. Okay. I think so. Okay, good. Thank you, Sandra. So here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to play at all, but it's 1 minute. But it's basically...
In an era when politics and the media...
No, that's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted... Oh, this is some idiot talking about it. No, it's somebody dictating it. Nope, I do not want that. I don't want somebody telling you about McCarthy. I want you to hear Morrow's clip. It's such a great moment. Oh, here it is. Okay. It's all right. The point is that, wait, I do have another thing. One other idea is this. Okay, here we go. So they had it as a text and an audio, and I'm just going to share with you just a little bit of it because you know me, here I am. Last week, and this is what Morrow said about McCarthy. Last week, Senator McCarthy appeared on this program to correct any errors he might have thought we made on our report of March 9th. Since he made no reference to any statements of fact that we made, we must conclude that he found no errors of fact. He proved again that anyone who exposes him, anyone who does not share his hysterical disregard for decency and human dignity and the rights guaranteed by the Constitution, must either be a communist or a fellow traveler. I fully expected this treatment. The senator added this reporter's name to a long list of individuals and institutions he has accused of serving the communist cause. His proposition is very simple. Anyone who criticizes or opposes McCarthy's methods must be a communist. And if that's true, there's an awful lot of communists in our country. And so he really goes into it more. But I think what I'm trying to say is that the entire thing has flipped now. And when I say this to you, there are so many things going on. Let's see. Oh my God, you're not the only one who has problems with technology. You know what it is? I'm just learning all this stuff. But what I want to say to you is that we will, exactly, Catherine, we will only be saved by people who stand up and say that's wrong. And people now are really afraid to do it. And it's really interesting because I've gotten very vocal about what I don't like. And I've become like this kind of like person that's like, no, that's not right. You know, that's a liar. This is what's going on. Hey, Ricky boy, thank you so much. Wow. Yay. Thank you. Amen. Did you lose somebody to breast cancer, Ricky? Because that's an awareness. Okay. So what I want to say is that, you know, I was talking to, and by the way, when I say that, I love my country. I love America. And I am not going to stand by while people tear it down. I won't do it. Listen, I know there's problems. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say we're all, you know, we're all perfect here, right? We're not. This is an imperfect country. The entire thing of America is an experiment. But it's an experiment that people from all over the world have come to. We are a melting pot of ideas and a shared love of our Constitution and our rights. And what has happened in these past months is there's definitely some unfairness that's been exposed. And I want to share with you this letter, which I want to say is coming into all of our living rooms, if you know what I mean. I'm not the only one, okay? I'm not the only one who's getting this. I'm not the only one who's being singled out, but I'm the only one who's not backing down. I'm not going to back down. And it's funny that God bless. I got to tell you guys, this is so great. We'll survive it. And I'm going to tell you why. My dad jumped out of a plane on D-Day. And he was also in the Bulge, and he was in Market. He jumped on Market Garden. The point I'm making with all of you is I'll never forget the night I sat down with my dad, and we were watching Band of Brothers. Private Ryan. And my dad, I said, oh, let's watch this. He said, I'll watch it, but you better keep your eyes open through the whole damn thing. I was like, okay. And I did. And it was the most horrible thing. At one point I was like, you have to freeze this for me. I need a minute. The point is, I said, Papa, with everything that's going on in the world right now, this is crazy, right? And he said, Tori, I'm going to tell you something, and I want you to take this with you and always remember it. The American people will always ultimately stand up and protect their rights of freedom. And I thought, that's true, And I don't think we have ever been prepared for this. I don't think we've ever seen people burning down cities and allowed to do it night after night after night. And I don't think we've seen that, like not in this capacity. And there are some underlying things that I do want to, talk about. I'm not sure that I'll get to it tonight, but I will bookmark it and say we're going to talk about this. Because I do want to talk about what I feel needs to happen in order to heal an entire community. And that's kind of my sense of it, but we'll see how far we get. Okay, so let's see. Tori, wash hands, shelter in, where have you been? Dude, can I tell you something? I'm surprised I even have skin anymore. I wash my hands so much. Exactly, Jen. We are a defiant people. And you know what I think, and you guys know this already, and I've said this, I do believe that this has the earmark of the CCP on it. The Chinese Communist Party is completely behind it. How have we gone from recognizing that the Chinese Party did this, really literally allowed people to fly out of Wuhan, but they couldn't fly anywhere in China, to Europe and here? How did the Chinese Party allow that? And now suddenly we're blaming this president when, bear with me, I don't care what you think about him, the same thing's happening in Europe. They're having another explosion. And so I guess what I'm saying, good, Angelina, I'm going to get to that in a minute. I think the biggest thing I want to say is that freedom is the most precious commodity that we have. And it is something that we have to, as humans, protect it. We have to protect it like it is a fragile little blue, I want to say a robin's egg, like fragile. We have to protect it, because the truth is that right now, and if you don't know this, I implore you to go find China in Focus. It is a channel on YouTube, and they are the only ones who talk about what's really going on in China and the atrocities that they are doing. Oh, Black Rose, God bless you and God bless him. Thank you so much for that sacrifice he gave. And I want to really underline that. Wow. We don't realize that, and somebody said, because I have an account, a bookkeeper, right? And I've had him, he's been with me for years, and then he left for 6 months, which is why everything kind of fell apart. But I had some problems. But the point I'm making is that we were talking the other day, and he said, Tori, I have to hide. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I'm gay. I'm in the gay community. I can't come out and say, I love America. I said, why not? He said, because I'm afraid. And I said, oh, that's okay. He said, but aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about having people stop buying your products or turn against you? I said, it's already happening. I've had people in the tarot community say terrible things about me. And they may be true, I don't know. But I said, you see, my stand for my country and my fellow countrymen and women is bigger than anything I could create. But I also know that it is only through the strength that we get from the heroes out there, the servicemen and women, the cops who keep going to their jobs, even though they're being gunned down in the streets. Those people deserve my sacrifice of saying, I'm not going to let that happen on my watch. And the more I speak up, maybe somebody will hear it. I don't know. Maybe everybody will go, this is a big problem. And there's lots of problems in this country. There's always been lots of problems. But you know what? Not one solution has ever been socialism or communism. There's never been that as a solution to our problems. And part of that is that it is, every day is like a new adventure. And, you know, my feeling is if I don't like it, I can go live in London and I can, you know, really, and don't get me wrong, I love London. I'll have the NSA, and there's a lot of things, benefits. But the point I'm making is that this is a country that I would die for, because I believe in all of you. I believe in the possibility that we can be this wonderful, wonderful, loving community again. And here's the real issue that I think is happening, is we are letting some of the crazies, right? And I'm talking about people who are like, I have no rights. And it's like, you have more rights than I do. What are you talking about? You know, and people who are really in this place of like, I don't get anything. And what are you talking about? So when I say this to you, it's very important. We really understand that. Thank you, TKO. Love you. You know, we really understand that we as Americans and Canadians, by the way, hello, we're on the same continent. Because I'm going to tell you something. They're not coming here and blowing just us up. They want to blow that up too. Don't kid yourself, because they want to take it over. And when I say they, I am talking about the CCP. I am not trying to be a crazy person, but it is fact. It has come out of that guy's mouth, right? That they want to destroy America. They have an army that's stronger than any army we've ever seen. There's so many things that are going on with China. And so this one guy really got under my skin the other day, because he was like, you know, you're an idiot, you're this, you're that, whatever. But when he said, China's our friend, and until this happened and this happened, I said, okay, now I know that either you're a bot or an idiot. And I'm not talking to you. That was just like it. Because here's the thing. What I realized when I saw this letter from this woman to me, it is, thank you so much, Angelina. And I'm going to tell you something. We have to stand together, you know, and I'm going to tell you that if we don't, then what's going to happen is absolutely the standing back and going, well, I don't want to be a racist. I don't want to be this. Well, you know, it doesn't matter what I do. I mean, I could not do it and I'm still going to be called a racist. Like, people who don't even know me. I had, and I'm not kidding when I tell you this, I'll get it. I'll find it somewhere. A PhD, a woman who does therapy, told me I was a racist. I'm like, do you even know me? You know? And she said, well, obviously you love Donald Trump. And I said, well, let's just get this straight. Okay. In the broadcast studio, there's a toolbar. Oh, I don't know. Somebody just gave me a message. I don't know where it is. But here's the thing. You know, she said, you love Donald Trump. And I said, I don't hate him. And I refuse to buy into, I'm supposed to hate this person that you're unhappy about. Well, I'm not going to play that game. I've been unhappy about lots of presidents. You know, I've not liked some of the things they've done anyway. And I don't care who they are personally. I really don't. If they're doing a good job, great. If they're not, he's an idiot. The thing is that things are not as they seem. And I want to really let you all know that. I think the most important, Ricky boy, we love you. I mean, I am really having this affinity again with Canada. And I'm really feeling this kind of like, dude, if we go down, you go down. And you have to remember that. That's what happened with London. You know, let's look at this letter, because I think you guys, I wish I could. Okay, so somebody sent me a note. Let me see, because I think it might have been Ron. Let's see. Oh, it's Duty Ron. Okay. It says, in the broadcast studio, there's a toolbar at the bottom, share screen. It'll pop up a screen. It didn't. Okay. Oh gosh. You know what? I'm going to have to do it. Duty Ron, when you're on, I'll do it. Okay. Yeah, do it. So I want to share this letter with y'all. Let's see. Okay. That's not what I wanted. So I got this. I actually came in on the tail end of it, because sometimes what happens is if there's an insulting or mean email that comes in, and there have been a few, it doesn't come to me. My one of my support desk people read it and go, or this support desk person explained, and just so you guys know, she explained to the woman what was happening and why the Chakra Wisdom Tarot deck had white people in it. Don't even, something, it's the most ridiculous, dumb thing, okay? But I understand that people think being a social justice warrior is a good thing. I think being a truth warrior is a good thing. I think spotting the truth in any situation and not having to attack another person. Remember, what do we say on this channel, guys? What do we say all the time? Say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. You insult me, you are out the door. I mean, that's like, right? Joanne! So what happened to Mila? Wait a minute. Europe is even more of a mess. Trust me. You know what, Mila? I know it is. And I'm going to tell you, this is the thing. I want to let you know, Mila, it's being hidden from us because everybody wants to just say, well, it's this president. Once we get rid of him, it's going to be fine. You know what? I don't think so. And there's a lot of reasons, but have you noticed that it went from the CCP, where we knew the virus was coming from there, to all of a sudden, we don't even know, it's nothing. And it's Trump's fault. Now, again, I want to be very clear. It's happening in Europe. And as Mila just said, it's scary. It's scary as hell, okay? Brittany's here, woo! Okay. So a couple things I'm going to say, and I don't want to say anymore because I want to read this letter. Do y'all want to hear the letter? Oh, no. Angelina, she just said my son got into, okay, I don't know what that means. In matters of racism and discrimination. So that's not worse. I'm kind of confused what you mean. Okay. So if you could just clarify. So I'm really sorry. Angelina just posted and said, my son got into an Ivy League UC Berkeley and was too afraid to go. I would be afraid to go. I'd be afraid to go. This is a very dangerous time. And one of the things that hit me, and I don't know how old everybody is, but I was good looking in the 80s. And it was very scary in New York. I remember walking up the street and always being afraid. And it really wasn't, at the end of Dinkins, who was the mayor of New York at the time, at the end of his thing, he all of a sudden was bringing in more cops. And then it started to get better. But even when I left, Giuliani wasn't mayor when I left. Even after I left, it was bad. And then all of a sudden it started to turn and it started to get better. So what I'm going to do, can you guys hear me? I want to make sure because I'm not seeing anybody on the, okay. I'm not Belgium or originally, and Belgian people hate foreigners. Doesn't matter skin. They just hate you openly. Some people are fascists for real. I think the thing is, and remember that a lot of people are afraid, and this is what was happening. This is what was happening in Nazi Germany. And I want to be very clear about this because you see what's happening here is there are people who are saying these people are like Hitler and Nazis. And I'm like, no, it's actually, you're more like a Nazi. Because you see, Nazis brainwashed the German people. They really had them to a point where they were so afraid. First of all, they burned the Bibles. They took their guns. They all of that kind of stuff was happening. They were all, and the thing that's really, sorry to those of you who are in Europe, but I think I told you some of this on another, it was another video that I did where I said I was standing around with a bunch of friends from London. I miss London. Okay, Owen, okay. He's still here. And I was standing around with a bunch of friends and I said, they were all like, oh, I can't believe, you Americans with your guns, it's ridiculous and all of this stuff. And they said, why do you have them anyway? And I said, do you really want to know? And they were like, well, of course. And I go, you brought them over and then we killed you with them. And we had to overthrow our own government because there was no taxation without representation. And you see, this is, and they all laughed, of course, thank God. Thank you. Oh, Duty Ron! So good to see you. Okay. I'm going to see if I can bring you on because I think I can. So don't you go anywhere. I want to read this letter, and then I want to, if I can bring Duty Ron on, I want to do this because he and I have been texting him back and forth about a topic we want to cover, and I think it'd be really fun to do together. So I'm just going to read this letter to you because this is the one that showed up. Just so y'all know, this is the letter that showed up about my tarot deck, right? Okay, so this is it. So, and this was somebody who literally took the form, you know, to message me, and it came through my help desk. Hi, Tori. Sorry to get my wisdom tarot deck and find endless images of white females. Also, the heterosexual assumption was really disappointing. Just wanted to point out, as there are racist and sexist overtones which bring into question the inclusiveness of your work. Well, I'm gonna tell you this, Fran. I think I'm gonna bring into question your sanity, because this is what you are doing in that note. You have no idea about me. You have no idea about the background of the torture that the artist went through to get to get that work done and to make that money so she could survive. You have no idea. You are throwing around terms that, you know, I've got to tell you, the idea of racist and sexist overtones. Who woke up and thought that up? I am serious, guys. Do you believe this? And I'm saying this because I really think it's important to out these people. This is not okay. And you know why it's not okay? Because if she does it to me, she's going to do it to everybody else. And I can't make that okay. I cannot stand for that. And yeah, right? Well, it gets better. Hold on, Catherine. So my help desk person, I know, right? Exactly. I'm so glad I'm getting truth bumps, you guys. Here's the thing I want to say to you. We cannot allow anyone to put us in a category that they think is going to shame or humiliate us, because that's the exact thing that is the terror around, I don't want to be bad. I don't want to be the one who gets killed or hurt or whatever. Okay. So yeah, this was on my tarot deck. This was about the card deck. Okay. So here's the response. And then she has another email she sent back. I can't even believe it. Like, she couldn't let it go. My help desk wrote this back. She said, "Dear Fran, thank you for your note. The deck was drawn by one artist trapped in Ukraine during the Russian invasion over 6 years ago. She drew it using only the people she could see during that time. The choice to use an oppressed people was the same to Tori as choosing the artist who drew the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards," which is this, okay, which was drawn almost 20 years ago now. In other words, it's just, I chose the right person and it was the right thing, basically. And then she said, Tori has been inspired to use your note in a YouTube video about the dangerous cancel culture being used to destroy artists. She feels strongly that on the well-intentioned road to fairness, the problem created is far more dangerous. I will follow up and let you know when she's created it. So I guess Cindy's going to be sending them her note tomorrow. Okay. So this is do you believe this though? I mean, this is the response. Okay. Woo. Okay. So, hey, Gemma, good to meet you. All righty. So, yep. Gretchen Raish Baskin. Thank you so much for mentioning her. That's another story. She drew the Chakra Wisdom Oracle card. She drew this deck. And nobody would publish it. I had to go to China. I had to spend $100,000, every penny I ever could scrape together in this lifetime. And I spent everything to get those done. And then I had like no money, and Amazon wouldn't put it on because it was going to lose me money. It's a crazy thing. But anyway, long story short, 6 months to the day after they came out, Gretchen died. And she was the artist. And she and I had a talk prior to the deck coming out, which was, it's the only time we ever spoke. And she said, you know, Tori, I really feel that there's another card. And I said, you know, Gretchen, I just feel like there's an angel, but there's not a card. And what happened was, when she died, I realized she was the angel. Because one of the things that her husband had said to me at the time, like, you know, after Gretchen passed, he said, you know, this was one of her favorite projects, and she really didn't want it to end, and she just loved the work. And I thought, that's the gift she gave us. And so she brought us the gift of intuition and exploring ourselves and finding out who we were and never letting the truth of who you are die. And you know what? I will not stand for anybody trying to squelch one person, because if they do it to me, they're going to do it to you. Well, guess what? I'm going down. I'm going down to a fight. You guys know me. Judy knows that. So here's the thing. So you got the note Cindy sent that note because I remember now, she'd asked me, hey, what do you want to do about this? And I said, I'm going to do a video about it. And then this is what Fran wrote back. Hi, Tori. She seems to think, okay, whatever. Hi, Tori. Sorry to get my wisdom. Oh, no, that was her nasty. That's her. Oh, here's her response. I don't relate to what you term cancel culture. Seems to me a rather simplistic way to avoid uncomfortable issues. The images in this deck are clearly stereotypical portrayals of the hyper female, slim, white, beautiful, all dressed up in evening wear or bridesmaids themes, faces covered in makeup, perpetuating the myth of females as vulnerable, only valued for her looks, not for her individuality or intelligence. We need to challenge these faults from perpetuating the myth of females this way. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. So we need to, perpetuating the myth of females as vulnerable, blah, blah, blah. We need to challenge these faults from wait, hold on. I'm losing my place here. What the heck? It's just okay. We need to challenge these faults from others and not repeat their mistakes by reproducing such representations. We need to learn from past experiences if we truly want to raise conscious awareness. No, Fran, you need to learn that your voice in this has no place, because what you're doing is you're trying to cancel my voice so that your voice is bigger than mine. And so this is, I think, so important. It isn't, Jenny, and you know what though? That's what it, let me just ask all of you, what do you think? Thank you, Duty Ron, brilliant. Bully mentality. The woman's a bully. And here's the thing. This is what is going on all across America. And when my bookkeeper said to me, geez, Tori, you're so brave. I go, brave about what? He said, well, you just are out and saying, I'm not going to stand for this crap. And I'm like, yeah, I've always called it. I've always called it as I see it. And if I think something's wrong, I remember after 9/11, right? And I almost called you Duty Ron, it's another story, but after 9/11, I was living in California. I got on a plane like 4 days later and went to New York. And I remember my dad going, you're going to get on a plane? And I'm like, hello, mister. I jumped out of a plane with bullets flying at me. And he was like, but that's different. It's you. And I go, no, what's different is you don't want me or anyone else to ever live in a world of like that. And he went, no, I don't. And I said, so I'm going to get on the plane. And I'll probably be able to sit anywhere on the plane. And I did. And I'm going to get on the plane. And I'm going to come home. And I'm going to be with you for a while. And so I'm saying this to you because you see, Fran sucks. Here's the thing, and I can laugh about Fran. I could say whatever. But, at the end of the day, what's really sad about this is she's trapped in the 60s. When did she not get that women are free to make up our minds now? Right? We can decide if we want to, if this is how, in my mind, I see the strength of women. This is a strength for me. This level of courage of being, I'm going to be me. That's courage. If you think of it as a weakness, I can guarantee this woman just never puts on makeup, doesn't care about herself, and really doesn't care. And I'm saying this because it sounds like someone in the true crime community I avoid. And what did Ricky say? The racist person, hold on. He says, I covered it here. The racist person is not the artist that made the drawings. It's the person that have noticed it. It's the person that's noticed it. And you know what? That's because here's the thing. We will all interpret it differently, won't we? So if I look at that and go, wow, that's really racist. That's in me. That's in me. How we relate to the issue is the issue. So if you're looking at this and going, that's so wrong for women, what you're really saying is, I can't be a woman. I'm really not comfortable, and I hate when I see other women being the woman they want to be. And I may not like everybody. There's certainly some entertainers I don't like, but I certainly don't send them messages about how they're racist. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of, right? I mean, the point I'm making, everybody, and I'm really blessed to be with you tonight, is listen, this whole idea of being able to terrify, you know, there's a community in the card industry thing. And one of the things that happened, I guess this was like a little over a year ago, a girl did a deck and there was one card that, you know, people were like, that's so racist and it's so wrong. And she freaked out, redrew the whole card and redid the whole deck, right? And she's young, she's a new creator. But you see, everybody was like, yes, that's so racist and that's so wrong. You shouldn't have that. And I'm like, you guys are missing the whole point, because you all swarmed like bees, and not bees. You were not honeybees. You were not swarming to go, wow, good for you. It was you swarmed like hornets and stung everybody. Because you see, what you do when you shame that one artist, you have about 5 other people that pull back and won't create something. You destroy voices. And what's the purpose of destroying a voice? In my world, you want to shut down someone because you hate them that much. Where did this hate come from? And I'm just going to tell you all this little secret that you may or may not like to hear. No one person created all that hate. No one person. So don't tell me, oh, it's this politician. Or no, don't tell me that. Because it was laying dormant inside of all of these people. So what I'd like to do on the next, it takes all sorts to make a world live and let live. Thank you, Linda. Live and let live. You don't like my deck? Don't buy it. You don't need to. And I had another woman that said and it's on Amazon actually, she literally wrote a review saying, you know, originally I liked this deck, but then I saw how radical, how I guess she called me a racist, blah, blah, blah. And because I don't hate our president. And she basically, and I do hold the CCP responsible for trying to destroy innocent lives, killing the Magyars in Hungary. And by the way, those people from Hungary who are I'm Hungarian, who are in China as in the camps, they're making Nikes. Did you know that? They're making Apple parts. So don't even begin to tell me, okay, that you think that anyone here is responsible for the things that are going on. This is all designed by the CCP. And I know I sound like a crazy person because I thought, you know, but at the end of the day, Joseph just said it, okay? And I think I can show it you. There you go, Joseph, I got you here. Shame corrodes the very part of us that believes we are capable of change. Fantastic, fantastic. And so as we, and you know what, thank you, Tim, racism is a learned behavior. It is. So, and you know what, Raven, I agree with you. There's a consensus here that I think is underlying everything. And what I want to do, I'm going to, I don't know if Duty Ron's still here, if he's lurking, but let me just see if I can, I don't know if I can, I'm going to try. Okay. Yeah, baby. I think I can send this if, I don't know if I don't know if I can, but if I can, Duty Ron, if you could come on for a minute, I don't know if you're around, I'm going to, let's see if I can do it. Oh, I don't think we're friends on Messenger. Let me just see. Nope. Okay. Don't got that one. It says I can send it on email. Or Gmail. I don't know either one of those. Okay. Well, if you want to, send the link to me on my phone. I don't know how to do that because it says I only can send it on email. Okay. Here we go. Where's your email? Dude, where's your email? Just text me your email, okay? Okay, just text me your email. I'll see it, and then because I know how to do it that way. I can send it to the email. Because I think it says, hold on. Copy the clipboard. You can have, okay. And I have it copied and I can email it. Okay. I can email it. Yeah, just go ahead and text me your, I guess your email if I can. If it's okay. Okay, got it. So, okay, I think this is it. So what we're going to do, because I really would love to have, Ron, I missed you. Okay. Okay, so Duty Ron's going to jump on, and I'm going to, this is really, everybody, just so those of you joining us, joining me tonight, I really came on to just test. Are you guys there? Okay, good. To just test this and see if it's even working, but it looks like it is. Joy Brown! Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. When people who look for anything to call out or call racist, they're really distracting from the real racism that exists, and it's counterproductive. This is a Brill from Miss Catherine. Thank you very much. Lovely. And I want to say that, oh yeah, the only reason I didn't is because I don't want to give the link out, Angelina, because then okay, so let's see. Oh, no. When I see him jump in, I think I get to see, let's see, children will listen, and that's where it begins. I think the thing I want to say about that, Marty said something, we really need to be aware of what comes out of our mouths. But you know what I want to say to you? I think we need to be careful of what's coming out of our heart more than what comes out of our mouths. Because children, surprisingly, have heard it all before. If they're in America, if they're here, they have heard this stuff. There is nothing. There is nothing they haven't heard. And I think, I'm so excited. Yay, Angelina. I'm so, and I want to say this because I think that, you can say anything to me with love in your heart, and I'm going to hear it differently than if you scream it at me. And so children are so resilient, and children really, they're listening to your inner working. Who you are is going to come up. And I think that's, and thank you, Tim. I think it's true. What she's saying also, which is important, begins in the home. Okay. So a couple things I want to talk about, and I'm going to do a video about this. I don't know if Ron can get in. We'll see if he can. If he can, then we'll talk about what we're going to be planning. But another thing I want to say is there are a couple more videos that I want to do. Thank you, TKO. Exactly. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate that. Children are little sponges. Man, I was so sassy. I was a sass, I was a sassafras. So here's the thing. The brilliant thing, the beauty of children is that they have heard it and seen it, and they will trust your heart 100 times quicker than they'll trust what's coming out of your mouth. Whereas now in society, people are just making up crap. They're just going, oh, yeah, that's what's going on. And it's like, I think that's kind of how it comes together, is that people are taking something, twisting it out of context, and then making it real. And I'm like, why would you be doing that? Isn't that, yeah, I think that's the thing. Okay. Oh yeah, Duty Ron. Okay, cool. That's his, thank you, Black Rose. That's Duty Ron's link as well. So what I would want to talk about in the next video, and this is what I'm going to probably, I don't know if I'm going to do it live, but I might. The work I do with multi-generational healing. And what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about what that is and how it works. And then what I want to bring forward to all of you is the idea of how we as a society have denied a lot of the Black experience. And that's what's come to me from the entire thing, with the entire situation. When I say thing, I'm sorry, no disrespect, with the entire situation with George Floyd. And I am going to talk about that in the next video. It looks like maybe Duty Ron can't get in, don't know what's going on, but I don't want to announce it without him. So we might do a little quick video when we can, because I'd like to have him on and we can banter about it. And there's a couple things too. I'm redoing my website, and it's like Teresa, I'm so sorry. She's funny. Okay. Okay, guys, this is what she just said. Hold on. Let's see. Here we go. Hold on. Okay. Line of the night. I shunned Fran. You know, look, here's the thing. And I want to say this about Fran, because I think it's important. I really feel there's a pathos to people who really can't accept that this isn't trying to harm anybody. This isn't to, I mean, there'll be some people who go, oh, it's tarot, but I think the thing is, this is not intended to harm anybody. Why would you come along and go, I'm going to just kick a dent in that person's car? It's just, what it's basically, you mugged somebody. Okay. You basically mugged my creative effort. You took it and you put it in a category that only you understand. And then when you're called on that, you go, I don't even know what that means. I'm just right. And there's a sadness to that, because you see, that is the, I got to run. Okay. That is the shame of all of this that's going on. And I want to just share with all of you that when I do the next video, I'm going to be talking about the pathos of, I lost you again. Hold on. He came on. I was about to let him in. Come back, Duty Ron, come back. I feel like it's, like Bewitched, like this. And there's the person popping in. Let's see. I always wanted to create a tarot deck design. Awesome. Do it. Something, there are so many opportunities. Okay, here we go. I'm going to add Duty Ron. So here we go.
Hi, T.
Hey.
Hope you guys can hear me okay.
I can hear you fine.
Good.
Hey, looking good.
I'm glad Josh was able to hook all this up. He was
amazing. He's amazing. And I really, Lauren, for now, you may think you're not a good enough artist. But what I want to do in this moment, guys, is because it's our last few minutes, I want to kind of switch the focus with Duty Ron. One of the things that he and I... but what I want to do in this moment... I'm hearing the...
That was me. That was me.
Okay.
That was me.
I'm like, oh, no, now I'm doing something else.
I just wanted to see the comments. That's why I just...
okay. Yeah, no problem. So a couple things that that we started talking about is when all of this crazy crap was going on in New York. And... one of the things that really put me into upset, and I started reading up on it, was the disrespect of these men and women who every day go out and save lives. They were pulling guns off the street. They were doing things that were unbelievable. And I literally have to say that I think this mayor, I can't even say his name. I think he's like been bought and paid for by somebody. That's all I can say about him. But what I talked about with you, Ron, is I thought it would be really interesting for all of us if we kind of did an interesting span of the history of the New York City Police Department, and not so much the boring, like, but more like, hey, they started in, 1852. We were actually the second police department that was formed. Boston was slightly before, but of course, the finest. And so I think it might be very interesting to hear how some of the history evolved in policing, and some of the amazing steps that the NYPD took between, and it's really particular, Ron, I was thinking about like 1970, when we had Serpico, into the 80s, which was scary as hell. And so what we were talking about is the idea that, I would just do a little bit of the kind of, here's what was going on, the color of what was going on in that era, and then have you talk about some of the policing things. So I thought that would be a really fun thing for us to do, even if we do it as like 3 parts, like we'll talk about this and then we'll talk about, another section.
I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it's very important for everybody to understand that police departments evolved. They're not like, the idea that this is how they are, this is how they always are, isn't true anymore. They really are evolving, and they're getting stronger and better. And I think we have to honor that. So I feel that, it would be an interesting thing. So I'm wondering if you guys think that would be kind of cool to actually, and by the way, I think, Ron, one of the things we can do is talk about some of the big crimes that took place in some of those decades.
Oh yeah.
And, which I think would be very fun. So it could be like, New York policing over the decades or something like that. So, and I'm announcing it because if I announce it, we'll do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you and I have spoken about this for over a month, maybe more.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and I'm not in any rush because I'm always ready, willing, and able. You know, I'm always ready to jump on with you. I know you had to get situated with Josh and, you know, with the StreamYards,
Yes.
and it looks like you've got it pretty good. We got to get you to share that screen because I know you wanted to do that. And
Yeah,
I
we'll do
sent
that
you
in
a
the next one.
message to
I might
with
do that.
instructions. Yeah, I sent you a message with instructions, but what we could do is just a private live stream and you could zoom through changing screens, and this way there's no
Yeah,
pressure
that
of
would
a
be
whole
helpful, I think.
audience. Yeah.
And God, by the way, guys, what, you know, I'm that person that's like, I don't care, just tell me what to do now, you know, like, so what I want to tell you is that what I'm thinking is, and Ron, you tell me what you think. I think it'd be very interesting to, you know, to start with where we are now and then just go back to almost the beginning. You know, we can even cover, you know, the, and I don't know if you guys know this, but we actually had one of our presidents, Teddy Roosevelt, was actually, he worked for the police department. That was one of his, he was actually the police commissioner, I think, in around the turn of the century. So it's very interesting that there was a lot of political influence, and part of the strength of the NYPD, because I've been doing a little research, is that they had a lot of backup from the national level. And because of Roosevelt, and there's a lot of things that I find very interesting, and it's really cool to see how a department evolves, and I think especially because it's the most advanced, really one of the most advanced in the you know, in the world.
I mean, listen, the NYPD, and I could speak obviously from you know my 2 decades of experience, spanning from the 90s into, you know, 2011, 2012. You know, the NYPD has some of the best equipment available to modern policing. So at the end of it all, you know, with the largest police force in the nation and all the equipment that was available to us and the technology, I mean, we did some amazing things. The numbers are astronomical when you look at the amount of radio calls and responses by a department. It's overwhelming. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Yeah. So I know it from experience because just give an example. Someone said, "Oh, I'd love to know where you were on 9/11." Well, if you go over to my channel, if you go to the Duty Round channel, I have Tori's channel linked on my site at
I'm
Duty
linked
Round.
on.
Yeah, and you linked me, so we're both connected together. But if anybody wants to go over after this live stream is over and look at my 2 9/11 videos that I did, one last year and one this year, it'll answer your question and a whole lot more where I was on September 11th. I was, you know, first responder. I responded. I was an active police officer during the course of that time. And I also was a police officer in 1993 in February for the first attack at the World Trade Center. I responded there too. So at the end of the day, Tori and I have got a lot to talk about. It'll probably be a 2 or 3 part series if we talk about,
at least,
you know, going from the 70s up forward, because we both like to yak it up. So
yeah, exactly. And I think also, Ron, one of the things somebody just said, let us know how you can help. I think it'd be very interesting to hear from, you know, if you guys know anybody who would bring something to this conversation, you know, just shoot a message to Ron, or if you think it's more in his area, or me, you know, if you think it's more my kind of thing. But I think that I will say that, and I know this is crazy, but I was always feeling safe because of the NYPD. I never felt for a minute that they wouldn't be there for me. And I never felt afraid of them. You know, thank you so much, Black Rose.
Thank you. Thank you, Rose.
And I think that, and there's one other thing that I think is very important here to say, is that this conversation about law enforcement and how we can evolve, I want to say how the department evolved and how we can come to understand that there is a miscommunication and there is some very real things that are not true that are being said. And I think we need to kind of put the record straight about a couple things. And that's going to be the purpose, you know, Yeah, I think I love that, Tim. Tim just, I'm going to give you his little comment. I love this thing. Look, I can put the little comments up there.
Highlight the comments, yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank you,
It's
Tim.
awesome.
What a sweetie. Thank
Special
you.
shout out to Josh for hooking up Tori
Yes.
from
Is he
California.
here? But I don't think he is. But
he's at a family funeral, so he is off the grid for a couple of days. So, but
I really vibed on you on 9/11. Ron, because I absolutely, there was something that came on and it was about 9/11 and I just sat back and I went, oh my gosh. And it's so funny. I picked up the phone and I thought, because I was just going to text you and said, hey, you're on my mind, whatever, but I thought, no, just no. And I don't know why. I just felt it was like a solemn thing. It was just
either way, it doesn't matter. I know our friendship is strong, so it doesn't even matter. I know that where your heart was and what you were thinking. So it's all good, Tori. It's all good.
Yeah. And I couldn't watch it again because just so everybody understands, 9/11 happened. And I think it was the next day Band of Brothers came out. So it was like, and that was the series. I secretly called up and I got my dad HBO. He was like, he goes, I don't have that. I'm not going to pay that $10 a month. Like when you're like, that's too much money.
I could hear your father saying that, right?
And I went, okay. And I called up, my dad needs this. Can I, and it was the funniest thing because he's like, I said, yeah, let's watch it together. So sometimes we'd have the phones, just open.
Right.
And right before he said, because he too watched the towers fall. And I think I told you the story, Ron, about he was in his apartment on his exercycle because we could see the towers from his window. And I said, what'd you do? He said, well, I had to run over to Joe's and get breakfast. I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, when you've seen combat, you make sure you get that last good meal. I was like, oh. And, the thing that I want to say about the NYPD and think about this, everybody. How many police departments? I'm not really including America so much, but how many police departments in other parts of the world would run into the Twin Towers to save lives? I don't know about other countries. I can't say. I'm not saying like that they wouldn't do that in London, but I'm thinking of like, countries that are communist or, they're all on the take, so to speak. I don't know how many people value human life and the devotion that these guys have and gals. And I was just so taken aback, and we could talk about this another time, but the two cops that were shot. And I have to tell you, I saw this woman helping her partner, and it was the most moving thing I had seen in a long time, because I thought, that's love, you guys. That's dedication. Why are you trying to kill people that really care? And this was the thing that just got me. So I think when we look at the NYPD and the history of it, I think we'll feel a little bit more like we belong and we're all in one community. And many, many police departments have learned from the NYPD. So Ron, thank you so much.
I'm going to tell you, before you let me go, I'm going to tell you a quick story about, because I did a live stream last night about the two deputies that were shot and ambushed. I did an hour-long live stream last night about it, and I actually showed the clip of her with the blood going from her face. She was shot in the jaw, so her jaw was broken, and the blood went all the way down her uniform in the front, all the way down to her pants. And she attended to and put a tourniquet on her partner. She's a 31-year-old mother of a 6-year-old child. Her motherly instincts and her police instincts kicked in, and her human instincts kicked in to protect her 24-year-old partner. And she put a tourniquet on his arm and saved his life because he was losing blood very fast. I want to just share a story about September 11th and a detective who was killed. Detective Joseph Vigiano was an emergency service cop. I worked with him in the 7-5 precinct. I know his wife. She was a cop as well. She retired. She's a great, great person. But Joe Vigiano had a brother who is his only other brother, John, and he was a firefighter. They were both killed in the World Trade Center. To make a long story short, Joe Vigiano, the detective in emergency service, was shot 2 times on the job as a police officer. And he came back to the job after being shot 2 separate times, and then was killed in the World Trade Center by cowardly terrorists. So that's the heroism, that's the bravery, that's the dedication that not only our military but our police perform for us
on a daily basis. And it's just, these people went in they went into the burning building,
But he survived being shot twice. Yeah, survived being shot twice, and still was serving the police, the citizens of city of New York, the police department, and went in without question into those towers, went up the stairs, and paid the ultimate sacrifice. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you for having me on, Tori. And this was a good experiment. You're working good great with StreamYards. I love the Tori Hartman cup with the pup on it. I love it.
That's Gavin right there.
I know. I see him. I see the pup. Now with Gavin on there, that was your artwork, and then Josh just added it in as an overlay.
Yes, I'm putting up a new website.
Nice.
So that's kind of like my little steamy coffee cup. And I have another YouTube channel where I'm going to start talking about the multi-generational healing stuff and doing cards and things like that. So I'll let you guys know when I'm doing that. But I just want to say thank you to you for coming on here, at the end and just chatting with us. And I really, really feel that, I think one of the things that I want to get out of this whole, the idea of policing is also, steps that we can do as citizens, taking a stand. Saying no to tyranny. And I'm going to tell you guys something. It's like on those planes, only the people on those planes kind of got a sense of what was happening. And so I want to remind you that we didn't know the power of terrorism until it hit the World Trade Center. And I want to remind you that we are under very similar attack. And if you I watched it, okay, because I heard about it. I don't know if I'll get thrown off, so I'm going to be very careful. She was a scientist for, I want to say, the CCP. And she actually came out yesterday. It was on Tucker Carlson. And she said to him, and he was like, what? Because he didn't expect it, that the coronavirus was man-made, that it was not, it was actually put together. And so as I say this, I want to remind everybody that the terrorists that hit the building are no different from the terrorists that brought us this virus. And so I want to remind everybody that America is the greatest experiment in history, and we have a responsibility to save it for our children. And I just want to remind you, it is a dangerous thing, this CCP. It really is. And I'm going to do a whole thing on that. But
hey, I'm gonna let you end your stream alone. I'm going to leave. But thank you, Tori. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I just want to say quick, I love to do this. Thank you for the super chats for Tori.
Look at me doing it.
Thank you for the respect and the love shown to my friend Tori Hartman and to myself. So thank you guys. I'll see you on the next one.
I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.